Hello, everybody. Sunday Adelaja here. Welcome to our continuation of our teaching on black people. Are black African people cursed? Are black African people cursed? That is the topic we have been discussing for over a month now, and we keep on discussing it. And today I'm going to be talking about Africans in the Arab world. You will see that this teaching is going throughout all parts of the world, all segments of the world, and the role of Africans in every part of the world. That Africa is the origin of modern civilization, and Africa is the basis and the root of every nation. Africans are a blessing to every nation, and Africa is the root and source of every country, every continent, and that's why we are proving to you today. So we are going to the Arab world. So today's topic is Africans in the history of the Arab world and Islam. Africans in the history of the Arab world and Islam. Okay, please go share the message, share, and here we go. The Arabian Peninsula, which is Arabia, in ancient time was inhabited by black people. And don't believe my word for it, let's look at history, okay? At the same time, the tribes of Arabia are considered to be ancestors of Arabs. So all this region, this is Arabia Peninsula, Middle East, okay? So once in a dominant position on the entire peninsula, the presence of Africans in Arabia can be traced in Sabian people. The Sabians or Sabians were an ancient people speaking an old South Arabian language who lived in the southern Arabian Peninsula. They were the first Arabians who represented a sufficient civilization. The southwest of the peninsula was the site of their original location. Today, it is the territory of Yemen. And let's see this territory. If you look at the way Yemenis look, and you look at even Arabs in general, you'll be able to see a lot of traces of black and blackness in them. You see, this is the way they are looking today. So how can you differentiate this between this and Ethiopians or Africans? Not too much. They are black people, but because of mixing together with people who came from the Roman Empire, people who the other races that mix up in Europe, in Arab world, and because of the mixture of different people, so they become lighter and lighter. But in the real sense, this was the original way the Arabs used to look. So in antiquity, a high civilization was formed thanks to fertile soil, production of alabamium and myrrh, close proximity to the sea, and therefore existence of important trade routes. Remnants of the walls show the strength of Sabian cities and a strong dam for large tanks at the top of the city, traces of which have been preserved till today, shows high culture of the country. So these are some of the ancient cities that were built by these Sabians. Sabians carried out extensive trade in gold, precious stones, etc. with Syria, Egypt, India, and Ethiopia. In the 10th century, the Sabian kingdom became famous for their queen. This woman had all the qualities of an exceptional monarch, and according to the existing data, ruled all the vast territories of Africa and Arabia. Now, and you know that this culture of having a woman rule over a nation is African. It's coming from Kush and the Kushites and Ethiopia. So that is the place it started from. In the Quran, she is known as Bilqis. In the Ethiopian legends, in the book the Kebra Nagast as Makweda, and in the Bible as the Queen of Sheba. Okay, these three sources provide a clear picture. Let me even go back. This name, Bilqis. That is what is known in Quran as the name of the woman. But the woman is a lot of the woman in Africa, in Yoruba land, in Ijebu area. Actually, she is called Bilikumi. So it's very similar to what the Quran called her. So, but it's also interpreted as the Queen of Sheba, the one that I spoke about that had built a wall and a city, and with the wall that is still there now, which I showed the video one time, that the amount of sand that was used there is more than the sand that was used for the Egypt pyramid, and that the age of it is as the same, the edge stones of England. That monument is still there in Ijebu land up to now. These three sources provide a clear picture of a highly developed state characterized by a strongly marked high status of women. Makuida and Bilqis is not the only example. In Arabian history, we meet prominent women several times. Perhaps their deeds and legacy allowed them to remain in the annals of history without mentioning their husbands or other male relatives. Apparently, the Sabian kingdom was a matriarchal society and culture. This argument in favor of African roots of civilizations with pronounced matriarchal character was discussed earlier on. As stated in the first chapter of my book, How Africans Brought Civilization to Europe, writers like Homer, Herodotus refer to inhabitants of Arabia as Ethiopians. You see, that means Africans. They call them Africans, and I mentioned that already in my book there, How Africans Brought Civilization, and I also mentioned it in this teaching in the beginning. According to anthropologist Diop, Arabia was the territory of Kushites, the oldest African civilization who developed civilization in the south of the Arabian Peninsula, where later on nomadic white people arrived in from the north and the east. In this regard, it relied very much on the study of French archaeologist Francois Lenormand. About southern Arabians, Lenormand wrote that the powerful Arabian Empire, particularly in Yemen, was founded by Ethiopians. By Ethiopians here, they are not talking about the nation of Ethiopia, they are talking about the race. That is the way they used to call all black people at the time. It is assumed that the practice of circumcision established in Yemen in the antiquity and other customs practiced to this day are by origin Cushitic customs. In addition, it recalls ancient Arabian wise man Luqman, whose name is probably also of Cushitic origin. Luqman is considered an architect of the Marib Dam. Okay, this is it. The ruins of the Marib Dam, an engineering wonder of the ancient world. Later in the Middle Ages, Luqman was identified with Aesop, considered to be the author of fables and described as an ugly black slave. Aesop himself, an ancient Greek poet fabulist, was identified as a black Ethiopian. He probably included a number of Luqman's fables into his work. The legend says that Luqman was either Ethiopian or Sudanese, charcoal black with curly hair. The name of Luqman is used in 31 surahs of the Quran. In them, he is called a wise man who comprehended existence of the only God. In Islam, his glory is comparable to the wisdom of Solomon in the Judeo-Christian world. Wow. And he's a black man. It's because the Quran itself affirms it. As historian Joel Rogers writes, there is still an expression teaching Luqman wisdom, which is similar to an English expression carrying coal to Newcastle. It means to provide something when there is already enough of it. Some legends even call him either a son or a grandson of biblical Job's. In Islam, Prophet Ayub, sister. So Job's sister. teaching Luqman wisdom is like wisdom. Well, Luqman is like Solomon. Teaching Solomon wisdom, so something like that if we say it in English, because he is regarded as the wisest man in their time in the Islam. Another outstanding black Arab was Antara Shaddad, an Arab poet and soldier of the pre-Islamic era, whose poem is part of the Mu'allaka poetic collection, which, according to the legend, hung in the Muslim shrine Kaaba. He was a son of an Ethiopian princess. He wrote this quatrain himself: "I am black, like musk, and my body is black. My blackness couldn't be reduced with acid, but my spirit is far from any black deed, far as clouds of heavens are far from earth." Antara's poems were highly valued by Arabs for their fighting spirit. A novel Deeds of Antara, Sirat Antar, attributed to the 8th century philologist Al-Asmai, is dedicated to him. It became a classic on equal terms with the Persian Shahnameh, German The Song of the Nibelungs, and English novels about King Arthur. In 1968, the principal editorial of Eastern Literature of Nauka Publishing House of the USSR published a shortened Russian translation of the novel entitled Life and Labors of Antara in prose, including original illustrations from the Cairo editions of the novel, which were an example of traditional Arab popular print type of fine arts. Scholar Stafford wrote of Antara that his literary fame exceeded the glory of Pushkin and Dumas, who also had black blood in them. He also marks him as the father of Arab chivalry. As a result of research conducted in Arab, American anthropologist John Denison Baldwin, a member of the American Oriental Society, concluded that at the end of the 20th century, it has been populated by two different races. The first race, descendants of the Kushites, and you know the Kushites are black people, Cushitic or Ethiopian race. That's what I'm saying, that Ethiopian were regarded as blacks, and Kushite also means black, inhabiting mainly southern, eastern, and central parts, but formerly ruling the entire peninsula. The second race was Semitic Arabs, the race of the Prophet Muhammad, found mainly in Hejaz, Western Arabia, and in the north. That is the the Arab world. That peninsula was inhabited by black people and Semitic people. In a number of regions, these races were more or less mixed, and that's what has turned to Arab race that we know today. Since Muhammad times, Arabic language of Semites replaced ancient Cushitic Ethiopian language. Arab ethnologists always noted the obvious difference between the two races. In its turn, pure Arab blood belongs to the Cushitic group, and the remnants of their ancient civilization are found literally in every region of Arabia. Dr. Bertram Thomas, a famous Arabian explorer, an English civil servant, and the Prime Minister of the Sultanate of Muscat and Oman, the first representative of the Western world to cross the Rub al-Khali Desert, provided a number of evidence of a similar point of view. He noted that thousands of graffiti were found in southwest Arabia, made in hieroglyphic writing similar to Ethiopian and unrelated to Arabic hieroglyphs. that would appear thousands of years after Ethiopian. Languages of Ethiopia and local southern kingdoms are related. Finally, he concluded that the two peoples were probably related by blood, the Arab and the Ethiopian. Commenting on the studies of the Scottish anthropologist Sir Otto Keith, who studied remnants of Arab skeletons, Dr. Thomas states that the original inhabitants of Arabia did not look like modern Arabs at all, but were much darker. You see, all those territories where Arab people are living right now, by the time they excavated the bodies, archaeologists discovered that there were black people who were living there. These Arabians were descendants of the Proto-Negroid branch of humankind. That's his conclusion. Let us now look at the role of Africans in formation and development of Islam. It has already been pointed out that the Prophet Muhammad was a descendant of Ishmael, who in turn was a son of Egyptian woman Hagar. According to many historians, theologians, Al-Jahiz among them, it is confirmed that he was partly of African origin, because the Hagar, she's an African, being an Egyptian woman. Al-Jahiz himself writes that Abd al-Muttalib ibn Hashim, the real name of Shaiba ibn Hashim, the Lord of Mecca, became the father of 10 magnificent masters, black as the night. One of them was Abbas, father of Abdullah ibn Abbas, the founder of the Abbasid dynasty. The other was Abu Talib, father of a righteous Caliph Ali ibn Abu Talib, the founder of the Al-Alid dynasty. And finally, Abdullah, father of the Prophet Muhammad. By the beginning of the 7th century, the seeds of Islam matured and Africa became an instrument for its spread. According to the legend, the first Muslim killed in a battle was a black-skinned Mikjar during the Battle of Badr. Another great black Muslim was Bilal ibn Rabah, whose father was from Ethiopia. Bilal is one of the best-known companions of the Prophet Muhammad and the first muezzin, a minister of a mosque who calls Muslims for compulsory prayer. According to the legend, Bilal added these words to the formula of the morning azan: Al-Salad Ajrum min al-Nahum, which means prayer is better than sleep. And when the Prophet Muhammad found out, he approved it. On the day of Muslims' conquest of Mecca, when the Prophet Muhammad entered Kaaba, and destroyed all idols, Bilal climbed on the roof of Kaaba and pronounced azan in his beautiful voice, calling for compulsory prayer. Bilal is described as of dark brown color with African features and bushy hair. During the Meccan period of Muhammad's activities, he and his associates were subjected to harassment, threats, boycotts, beatings, abuse, and death threats. This prompted Muhammad to relocate Muslims to Ethiopia 5 years after the proclamation of Islam. This journey impressed the first Muslims and influenced future development of Islam. A number of Ethiopians who converted to Islam and went to Medina are listed in Islamic biographical sources. Ethiopians were among the Prophet Muhammad's companions. They were called Ethiopian monks. It was these close relations that prompted the Prophet Muhammad to declare those who bring an Ethiopian man or an Ethiopian woman to their home bring God's blessings there. An Ethiopian normally is like black. Another great black Arab was Atta ibn Abi Rabah. Born into a Nubian family, which is African Sudanese, a people of southern Egypt and northern Sudan, who became a distinguished Muslim scientist, renowned hadith scholar and theologian. He even reached the position of Mufti of Mecca, the highest Muslim clerical position. Zaid ibn Arita was a black warlord Muhammad's favorite companion, the only one of his associates mentioned in the Quran. He was the adopted son of the Prophet. And before the prophetic mission began, the Prophet Muhammad declared, Zaid is here. Zaid was the second man to accept Islam, and then his wife Ayman did. He was described as having a flat nose and extremely dark brown skin. His ancestors came from tribes that were earlier inhabitants of Yemen. He was also married to Muhammad's family member, which was considered the highest honor. Here, we have assured ourselves of African roots of Arabs and their significant influence on the formation of Islam. The next time, we will see how Africans together with Arabs founded the Moorish Empire in the Iberia Peninsula. Well, before we do that, I would like for you people to go ahead and share this message. Share. And if you want to join my mentorship program, go to sundayadelajahblog.com/mentorship. If you want to go with us to Africa to restore and build a greater Africa, go to the same blog, sundayadelajahblog.com/Nigeria. If you want to get my books, you can buy them also by going to the same blog, sundayadelajahblog.com/books. If you want to read my books for free, you can go to Amazon. I'm a Kindle Unlimited, and register there. You'll be able to read them for free, or you can buy the books on Amazon. If you want to come to our training, History Makers training, please just go to sundayadelajahblog.com as well /HMT. So we'll be happy to have you. We have a video we are going to show after this, and that will give us, the understanding of what happened and how Arab people later on took advantage of black people through slavery and other things. So we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.